Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Destiny 2. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today, Secrets of Power. Let's get to it. Now on the side, we are doing the treasure maps for the week. So if you'd like to know the location of all of those, we're doing those as well. But we are mainly talking about power. And if you've watched every scrap of news and looked at every article, then you may already be aware of all the sources of power. If not, we're going to go over it. Now, we already know that the Majestic armor, the Solstice armor from the event that is closing this week, will be the first Armor 2.0 that you can get for Destiny 2. And of course, the Armor 2.0 will have modified mods that you'll have to earn, and then those you can put on the armor. Now, other than that, we found out that going into the Shadowkeep, regardless of how much you've played, so whether you have never played at all, or if you have played 100 hours in the last month, when Shadowkeep comes out, all your items, so in your inventory, in your vault, doesn't matter where it's at, as long as you have it, all those items will be bumped up to 750 light. So everyone that is new going into New Light, that hasn't paid for anything and they want to try out Destiny, but they have friends that already play, they'll be able to play with them in those pinnacle activities right off the bat. And if you have items in your vault that you've been keeping around that you don't really know whether or not it's worth keeping, you don't have to infuse anything into it because it's already going to be 750 when Shadowkeep comes out October 1st. So it is both a good thing and a bad thing because the power bar being raised automatically to 750. Now, if you're a brand new player, when you start playing New Light, it won't automatically jump to 750 as soon as you start playing. You'll have to play the first mission and go to the city. And then once you get to the city, then you'll be bumped up. So this is both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it allows players to play with friends that maybe have been playing for a long time, and you'll automatically be at their power. And you don't have to worry about those little pesky things that say, well, you really need to be 690 power in order to do this activity. The downside is that the gains for power and the time spent gaining power, you kind of felt like you were getting stronger. So you don't have that kind of journey, that power journey. If you're not already 750 or even close to 750. Because as we know, going into a new DLC, at least the last couple DLCs, they've made it easier to get power if you've been behind. They had those power surge bounties that you could pick up, and it would bring you up to 10 points below the previous maximum. So I guess this would be similar to that, but instead of giving you, blue armor, blue weapons, everything that you have is going to 750. So in other words, when you're getting prime engrams, if they don't have good rolls on them, if you're getting weapons and armor from powerful sources and they're not that great, break them down. Get the glimmer, get the legendary shards out of them, because those will be more useful to you in the next DLC rather than using it as infusion, where you would have to use glimmer, resources, legendary shards, enhancement cores, what have you. Now, in terms of the armor 2.0, I mean, that's still going to be the case. All of your current armor, with the exception of the Solstice armor, is not going to be as useful. Now, if you have armor on it that has enhanced perks, it's still going to be a good thing to use and to have, because those perks are going to be more difficult to obtain for your armor 2.0. And they've already said that you will need to do the pinnacle activities in order to gain those enhanced mods. Oh, right in the crack. Additionally, if you have mods that have heavy ammo finder, special ammo finder, you're probably going to want to hold on to those as long as possible. Even ones that have like rocket launcher scavenger or linear fusion scavenger, grenade launcher scavenger. We don't really know how difficult it will be to find those and to pick those up, and if we'll need 3 different versions of that, or if it's going to be a generic mod where you only need one version of it. So in Armor 2.0, you'll have different types of armor. It'll either be aligned with Solar, Arc, or Void, and then the mods that you put on it will either be Solar for Solar armor, Arc for Arc armor, Void for Void armor, or generic, which could be used across any of the 3. And the big thing about Armor 2.0 is that you're going to have 6 different stats instead of 3 stats. So instead of just having mobility, resilience, recovery, on a 10-point scale, you're going to have those 3 plus the 3 correlating to super, grenade, and melee, strength, intellect, and I can never remember the 3rd one for some reason, or 6th, depending on how you're looking at it. And the total number of points that you get for those 6 traits are going to be randomized. So when you pick up a piece of armor, even if it's the same piece, so let's say you get some Scatterhorn Greaves, and the first one, because the mods are all basically whatever you want, or whatever you have that you can put on it, there we go. Because that is going to be non-randomized. Because right now, when you get a piece of armor, the perks on it are going to be randomized. So whether you get heavy ammo finder, fastball, rocket launcher scavenger, unflinching sniper rifle, enhanced unflinching pulse rifle, what have you, etc., etc. Those are all randomized rolls. In the future, that's not going to be randomized. You're going to be able to pick those perks so long as you have that mod unlocked. The randomized part of Armor 2.0 is coming in the form of the total number of points and where those points are spec'd into when you pick up armor. So when you pick up armor, like I was saying, the Scatterhorn Greaves, the first one, maybe you have 60 points and you've got 20 points in intellect. The second one you pick up has 45 total points with 3 points in intellect. So there is going to be a huge variation in the number and types of armor that you get, not just for style, but also for those perks, those rolls, those traits that you get on them. And as I've said before, more than likely, the perks that you get on pinnacle activities, the Iron Banner, the Nightfall, the Nightmare Hunts, the Raid, those will likely be, or potentially be, higher. So they all have a range, so it's not going to be a set. So getting those Scatterhorn Greaves won't always give you 45 points, just in different things. It'll be a range, maybe as low as 30 points, and at the high end, maybe 65 points if you get a really good drop. So we'll all be on the quest, not for the perks on the armor, but for the traits on the armor. And the higher the traits, the better overall it will be. And of course, if you want to spec out into intellect, if you want to spec into strength, if you want to spec into mobility, then of course you're going to look for armor that have more points in those things, or you will have to supplement your armor and maybe sacrifice other things as a result. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.